All right, guys, so let's talk about handstand push-ups. So handstand push-ups, we're gonna apply everything on a strict handstand push-up, which again, depending on the athlete, this could be the most efficient way to do it, especially if we're gonna start to talk about smaller sets like the games this year, set of 10, and then a sled push. This is gonna be the fastest way to do it, but hands are gonna be about 1.5 feet away from the wall. Matt's gonna kick up, same application, belly's tight, butt is tight. I want you guys to really watch his elbow position as he comes down and comes back up. It's really important. Go ahead and do one more for me, Matt, and rest. It's always kind of boggled my mind when I see people do handstand push-ups like this. It makes no sense to me because it's a really crappy shoulder position and it's weaker. Do you guys press like this with a barbell? No, where do you press from? With elbows in front of the bar, right? So if we have our hands on the floor, our elbows are pointing back toward you guys a touch. So when Matt goes back into that position, we get a lot of help from the tricep, not just beating up our shoulders there. It doesn't have to be extreme, but his elbows are gonna go back toward you guys a bit as he presses up, okay? And you can rest. Again, really tight belly. Now, having said that, you didn't hear it from me. If you overextend, you're gonna kind of shorten your distance a little bit. So if you overextend on your handstand push-up hard, you're probably gonna shorten the range of motion a little bit. And also, if you overextend as you press and then lock out, what are you doing? You're decreasing the load at the bottom and then finishing it off with your abs at the top. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So if Matt does that, so if he goes down to the bottom of his push-up and he does, go ahead and go down, overextend as he presses up and then locks the hip out up top, that can be helpful for some athletes. For the bigger dogs, you'll see people do that. Now, is it efficient? No. I don't think so. Tight belly, tight butt is always gonna be the most efficient thing.
Usually what's gonna happen is if my hands are set up straight ahead, it's going to be harder for me to get those elbows moving backwards. So if you go thumbs forward, I'm gonna be loading those triceps a little bit easier.
Thumbs towards the wall?
Yeah, because then now I'm here, okay. Just like a bench press. Okay, so better. Let's try to squeeze your elbows straight back towards this finger. Better. You're not going to do a jerk like this, right? You're going to do a jerk with your elbows in front because it's the most supportive position. So you're going to try to load yourself so that you're back in this position. Good, Katie. Yep, that's it. Nice job.
Those completely fucking suck.
And next thing we're going to talk about, guys, is the kip. So kipping, again, is something that for an athlete that maybe has a bunch of strict handstand push-ups could resort to as they got more fatigued. Or for you bigger guys, it might be something that you go to after 5 or 6 reps. So you need to know how to do it regardless of where you are. But for kipping, the same rule applies, but I would say that you guys should have your hands farther away from the wall now. And the only reason why is when we see people kick into the wall, if you guys, what's the rule typically at the top of the handstand push-up? Heels have to be against the wall. So a lot of athletes, if you guys are too close to the wall, you guys see the ones that kick up and then they fall back before their feet are on the wall. So when you guys kick, you want to think not just kick up, but kind of kick back into the wall. So as Matt kicks up into his regular handstand, might have done a couple now, he's tired, he comes down, still keeps tight, presses, but you can see how even he's overextending as he comes up. Still not super efficient, but he's getting his feet back to the wall. So I would play around with distance from the wall on the position with your hands, because you guys do need to kick into the wall. Justin, try, you don't have to do it again, but when you do it, try to get your hips extended before your feet hit the wall. You know how your feet hit the wall and then you kind of get glued to the wall and you have to finish the press? Yeah, where if you can kick and press, you won't have the friction of the wall and mess with it. And the more you bring your knees to your chest, the more you're gonna be able to use that hip. Be thinking about that. You'll have to, I told Justin you want to extend up and then back. So Justin was doing the same thing, you get stuck to the wall and then press up. So you gotta finish your press and then smack it, if that makes sense. So you want to be locked out and then hit the wall instead of hitting the wall while you're locked out. Plates are something to consider as well. You're gonna have typically 2 standards when you're looking at plates. One is gonna be that your hand has to just be on the plate. If that's the case, what should you do? As wide as you can. If you're an athlete like me, holy crap, welcome to the world's smallest handstand push-up. Right? So if that's the standard, let it rip, right? If it's not the standard, typically you're gonna see hands on top of the hole. There you go, yep. So Dave's like, yeah, get that right. So go ahead and hop up there, Matt. Same thing's still gonna apply though, guys. You're not gonna change anything. Elbows are still gonna go back toward you now, but what's gonna make this movement a touch tougher? You can go ahead and do rep. Where's Matt now? You can rest. He's way closer to the wall. Yeah, so you guys wanna keep working positions close to the wall, a bit further away from the wall, because if you have this standard, you're pretty vertical, and that's gonna be tougher. It's gonna be tougher to kip from here. It's gonna be tougher to press from here when you're tired, and this is where you're more likely to see people really overextended. Any questions on that? Cool. And then the last one is ring handstand push-ups. Don't know if we'll ever see these again, but I sure hope we see like a set of 20 of them someday. So if we start talking about ring handstand push-ups, we're just gonna look at wraps really quick. You can wrap your legs so that it's a huge help, and you can wrap your legs if you have more strength in the press so that you don't have as much friction. So for Matt, a guy like Matt is probably gonna wrap his legs around the rings so he can climb the rings. And for Matt, he is more comfortable, since he's a bigger athlete, kicking up into an extended position so that he can use the elasticity as he goes down and up. So you'll see him kick up and wrap his feet around the straps, so go ahead. And now he's gonna use the straps as he goes down, and he's gonna climb up them as he comes up, right? So this is probably the most efficient way for the bigger athletes. You can rest for a second, Matt. Now the other way, which I think for an athlete like myself that's smaller, maybe you have more pressing power, is you wanna wrap your feet so that you do have the potential to fall through, and now you're gonna have to start with your head on the floor, usually, so it's harder to press from here. And then Matt's gonna wrap his legs so just his toes are around the strap, and we'll show you how you can use them to your advantage. So from here, he's gonna have to dig in to press, a little overextended. Now on the way down, he's gonna bite the straps to help the negative, and then let go as he presses up. You get? Nice job. Good job. So as he presses up, I'll show you guys real quick. That's right. So as you press up, you guys will see my feet are gonna relax a little bit on the up, bite. And you guys can hear the difference. On the down, you hear my feet on the straps. On the up, you don't. Why? Yeah, on the down, because it helps with your eccentric loading, right? So just food for thought, stuff that you guys want to take into consideration. Using that is a big, big help. I won't have you guys practice it because I know it's crazy. Please no, please no.